5, 4, 3, because it makes you smile. That's why I'm always going to do it. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the LinkedIn HubSpot AI for sales and marketing power hour. That's only 30 minutes.
Power 30 minutes.
With your host, Casey Hawkins.
Do you know, Trisha, that Power Hour was my favorite drinking game in college? Do you know what a Power Hour is?
I don't even know what that is, having not gone to college. Missed out on a lot of stuff.
You didn't go to college?
No. No, I was a little rock rebel. I broke all the rules back then.
Well, this isn't going to make me look like a star student or anything. But the drinking game Power Hour, you take a shot glass of beer every minute for an hour. And that was my favorite drinking game in college. So now I do the Sprocketeer Power Hour, and I don't know, we do these lives, and we people call them Power Hours, and I'm always like, oh.
Why
would you do?
Why was that one your favorite?
I like sitting and chatting.
I do
too. You play a different game and there's too much going on. You can't just sit and chat. This game, you just basically are sitting and chatting.
Oh, yeah, I like that. One of my life dreams is when I'm 80, that I'll spend a good portion of my time sitting around a big circular table with a bunch of people, my old friends, drinking and getting drunk together.
You should try Power Hour then.
But that will never happen for me because alcohol makes me so sick now that I can't really do that. So that dream's already it's not going to happen. But it was always that's what I want when I get old. I just want to sit around with my friends, having wine.
Sounds really nice.
It does sound really nice. And all the old ladies that I know that do that, they're really cool. Okay, so anyway, on track.
So thank you for joining us today. We have been meeting weekly and talking about how to better use AI in marketing and in HubSpot, not in marketing. And one thing that has kind of come up time and time again that we need sales and marketing both using data inputting data into HubSpot to make the most out of AI. If you talk to anyone about using AI in HubSpot, one of the things that will come up pretty quickly is how reliable is your data? How complete is your data? This and that. And that is why Trisha and I have been talking to a couple of the best salespeople we know about how they're using AI to improve marketing or to improve their processes, and how she and I, as marketers by trade, could use that data to improve our own marketing. Is basically, we're doing this selfishly. We want the data that the salespeople have. So we're talking to some salespeople who are using AI and kind of how that's helping them and how that can help us ultimately. But today, I'm the guest.
Ta-da!
Because as I told Trisha, I've accidentally become a sales rep myself. I have my own mini marketing company, but a lot of what I do nowadays is actually sell. As a marketer, that makes me, I'm making that face because
as a marketer, it's not our favorite. It's not the most comfortable space to live in. We see you guys, we appreciate you guys. And I'm I could never do that. Not full time.
Yeah. So that is that is what I've come here though, because I do a lot of sales work these days. And I've been using AI to help me with that. And specifically, most recently, I've been using Claude, which is connected in my instance to HubSpot using the MCP. And I actually have been using that to the transcriptions from my calls to update my HubSpot CRM directly, as well as do my logging of my call notes and even creating proposals from that directly. Is that what I can?
Yeah. And you're using the MCP connection for what you're going to show us today, but you told me as of like 2 weeks ago, the deep research connection is connected to the same objects that MCP is now, right?
Yes. I am still using this through the MCP. To be honest, that is because I have a bunch of different email aliases. And as Trisha, you've said, you need your Claude email to be the same as the email you use for HubSpot to connect. And that's not true for me.
I mean, we're both freelancers that support multiple clients. But when Black Friday rolled around, there was an impulse at some moment, like, well, I wonder if there's a deal on like the ChatGPT annual license or that. But I'm like, I can't get locked into one email address and one license for the whole year because I'm often switching because I'm going to use a lot of deep research for this client this month, and then like right now, I'm waiting for the month to renew so I can switch it over.
But this is the update that Trish is referring to. So with the native integration with Claude, you can now take action with Claude, update CRM records, and access engagement history inside of Claude. So if you wanted to not use the MCP, reasons you might not want to use the MCP, it's a little harder to set up. I'm not going to go through that today for many reasons. One of them being my friend Chris Carolyn held my hand while connecting it, and I just don't feel confident enough coming out here and telling anyone how to do that. But I do know Claude can help you do it. So if you want to do it, just like ask Claude.
But I mean, it is significantly more difficult. And now that you can just I don't know why you would do it through the MCP. I think that would be an interest. I would if Chris is watching, and maybe he will, tell us why you might still use the MCP over the deep research connector, because it's so much more complicated to set up. I don't know why you would.
Yeah. So you should be able to do this with this plugin as well. If you do this, you should be able to do everything I'm doing. But I do just want to be transparent at the front that I'm doing this through the MCP personally. I was really excited. So I'll tell you what actually happened. So this update came out like 2 weeks ago. We read through this update on the morning show that I do, going through the updates with Chris and George. And it sounded really cool. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And I don't remember if I said this live or if it was after the show. But I was like reading it and I was like, this is really cool. And then I had a moment where I was like, I actually just did this the other day. I was like, wait, I don't think I understand what this update is. And then Chris explained to me that, yes, I was using the MCP, but now this is possible using the app itself. So all of that to say, this is easier now. So let's just do it, right?
Your nails look really, really nice today, Casey.
Thank you.
Pretty. That's pretty.
Like a brown, kind of, but like, I don't know.
I mean, in this light, it almost looks brownish green, which is a very interesting shade.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool shade. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I'm glad we took a moment for that. Thank you. All right. So I have a dummy transcript I'm going to use, obviously, maybe not obviously. But yeah, I'm just going to go through. I am not a prompt engineer by any stretch. I use the most plain text language. So just know that going into this, everyone, that you're not going to see a...
Wait, so you're starting with a transcript. Tell us really quick, as a reminder, what you're going to create with this.
So I'm going to take the transcript. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Claude what it needs to create the contacts from the transcript into my HubSpot CRM. Doesn't need any additional details. I'm going to ask Claude ultimately to create the contact, the company, as well as the meeting notes. And that's, I will say, like, all of this is really because I, as a marketer, really want meeting notes and transcripts in HubSpot. So if I'm being really honest, that's the reason I'm really excited about all of this, is because I can give HubSpot the transcript, or I can give Claude the transcript, and it will create the meeting in HubSpot for me with a summary and everything.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of call would this? I know it's fictitious, but what was the subject of the call?
It was a sales call about a HubSpot portal cleanup.
Okay. And are you going to do the proposal too, or just the meeting notes?
We should be able to do the proposal too. Yeah.
Okay. Let's check it out.
All right. So I am in Claude right now. I actually have a project. I'm using a project here because the project has some like context. If you are regularly doing this, it's good to use a project which will have like other proposals that you put together. You can put like pricing references and stuff on there. So that's why it's kind of valuable to use a project if you are able to. So I'm going to just paste my transcript in there. And I'm going to say, hey, Claude, I had this sales meeting yesterday, December 4th, 2025. One thing that drives me crazy is, oh man, why are you going to do that? Claude is like convinced
that is 2024.
Convinced it's 2024.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to be clear up front that this happened in 2025 and try to help it.
Mm-hmm. I've run into that myself.
Yeah. Do you need any additional information about the contacts or company? Create these records in HubSpot.
One thing I hate about ChatGPT is that it doesn't really have any memory. Like once a chat is more than 30 days old, it's like it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
I got some kind of pop-up in Claude the other day though that said like, do you want me to remember? And I said, yes, please remember.
Mm-hmm.
So do you know if Claude now remembers chats or has?
I don't know how long it remembers chats. I did reference when creating this transcript, I referenced a previous chat and by name, and it was able to find it, but it had to be in the same project.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's it. So it is saying, it's showing me what it knows about the transcript. So it knows the company's name, the industry, and then the two contacts, Taylor Swift and Tree Payne. It knows their names and titles. It's saying what would be helpful to add is their email addresses and phone numbers, which were not included in the transcript. And then the company similar from there. So I'll just say, can you include the phone number or the email? The following. So I'm just showing you that like it's good to ask, because the first time I did this, I didn't ask this before, and it did just like make up an email address for everyone, which was kind of annoying because
It saves a lot of time to always ask, do you need, like, what else do you need to know? Or can you really do this thing? It can still lie, but
Yeah.
it's just part of the process that you should begin building if you're not already doing it.
And I also like that it asked me the deal information for the project.
Mm-hmm.
So now also create the deal. What should the pricing look like based on other proposals in this project? And a timeline should be of January 2026.
I saw Josh Oakes say something on LinkedIn this week about, he prefers any tool that is native to HubSpot over a third-party tool, like this one, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And as you were doing this, I was thinking this would be so much better if we could just do this in HubSpot. It's dumb. Like, I have friction every time I recommend somebody going off platform to go do something and use another platform.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is that Breeze just isn't there yet.
Yeah. So this is telling me the pricing it suggests based on the project. I know we've talked about this on other shows, Trisha. Chris does a really good job documenting things, and I'm using one of his projects. This is the importance of documenting things. He has documentation on our pricing ranges. So he has that added to the project. So now it's just pulling that right from the documentation that Chris has created. If this was a real proposal, I'd probably double check the documentation just to be clear, but this isn't one, so I'm just going to pretend that this is fine. But yeah, so I didn't even have to think about the pricing at all. My computer does this sometimes. Sorry, friends. But yeah, so now it's creating my CRM objects. It's having trouble because there's not an industry for, Taylor Swift is her own industry. So
are you there we go.
Sorry, my thing likes not. So yeah, so I can see it created the company. It's actually going to link directly to the object in HubSpot. Let me just actually using the desktop. Yeah, so I can see it's. And now let me share something else. There. So I can see Taylor Swift production. It has the website. It has the industry. It pulled the address from an enriched. And it even did the notes for me for the call. I didn't even ask it to. I was going to, but it already did it.
It's interesting that it said that Chris created this note.
Mm-hmm. I think it's because he is the one that connected the integration.
Okay.
This is logged to 2024. This happened last time I did this. And I just had to correct it, but it was able to correct it itself. Mm-hmm. But you'll see it has all the notes. It has, details about the call. It even has like links to stuff. And then it created the 2 records, and it even created the opportunity.
Ooh, that's pretty nice. Mm-hmm. At some point with all this back and forth, you start wondering, like, is this actually changing any time? Like, you've got to change the date on that note. You've like you had to go back and forth with all of it. But with all of these components, you've got 3 different objects. Well, a node is also an object, kind of, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I could have done this any
No.
faster. The only thing is now I have to adjust it, which this part is kind of annoying because, and maybe I'm wrong here, but I don't know how to actually correct it from the CRM. Like it almost would be easier. But I'm just going to go back. And we should always be checking AI. I think it's George who said, like, it's your AI assistant, the same way you would check the work of an employee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it said, I also created the comprehensive note. I'm going to say thanks for creating the note. The note is dated incorrectly. Is dated for 4th, 2024, but this in December. I just complained, December 4th. Still. Can you update the note? The other thing I noticed, I asked Chris about the date thing, and he said Claude was last like updated in 2024 or something about its database was updated last in 2024, so that's why it thinks it's 2024. All of that to say, like, that's very much like the type of issue that's the type of problem that we have with AI that's going to go away. And now let me just check that.
That's even great because I did not see a way to change it in HubSpot.
Mm-hmm. The activity is still saying the note was on. This happened last time too. I had to ask it a couple of times, but it did it eventually. Yeah. But once that's done, I'm going to say, can you draft a proposal for this on this call to use the knowledge from similar projects and offerings in this project to make this as complete as possible.
And that's why all of the foundational documents are important, and also important to be sharing that kind of stuff with HubSpot, because otherwise Claude doesn't have reference material.
Mm-hmm.
In the vein of checking its work, I used Breeze to create a bunch of properties this week. I don't recommend it because I've done it through deep research before and it did a good job. Breeze did a terrible job.
Okay.
Terrible. And I was doing it one at a time to make sure it was doing it right along the way. And at some point it just started making up properties. So, and I think one of the problems with Breeze is that Breeze won't accept an Excel doc. And like properties where you're like, this field should be this field should be this, it lends itself to a table. But Breeze only accepts PNG files, JPEGs. I think it's only image files. And I think maybe that was part of the problem. I don't know. But it did all kinds of goofy stuff.
Yeah. Another thing I just want to add, if you don't have like a project fully built out, which is fine, obviously, when I did this last, what I actually did was I sent some like related proposals to Claude, and I was like, hey, this is a similar proposal. Can you use that as like the basis? And it was able to create it pretty quickly with that. But yeah, so you can see it's checking the formatting. It searched for similar projects inside. You can see all the things that it like did. And now it's.
And it is really important to watch what it's doing because if it does start going off the rails, you have an opportunity at that point to stop it and steer it back on course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, we chatted about drinking games for the first 15 minutes of this. And now
I think it's because we didn't do a live at all last week, right?
No.
Yeah. I missed you. There was like this energy. I was just like, I need to talk to Casey.
But I'm just trying to say, like, you were wondering, like, does this actually save time? And like, I think what I'm saying is like, yeah, I mean, it created all the stuff. Also, I don't know about you. Maybe you're better than me. I have such a hard time doing a thing. It takes me so long to like do it. So the ability to just send the transcript off and have ChatGPT do the creation of records and stuff, like this isn't that hard, but it's so much nicer for me to be able to just send it off and have it done, rather than me waiting.
100%. I like if I have to generate call notes by typing them, I will never do them. I will never do them. But if I can use this, they actually have a chance of going out there. And we're at 27 minutes right now, a lot of which has just been us like being completely off topic. So I think this is super impressive.
So yeah, so now I have the full proposal. This is right now I'd have to copy this and put it into a PDF, or I would copy it and put it into a Word doc. I can ask it to create it as a PDF. Personal preference, I don't like to do that. I don't like dealing with the like styling that it does and stuff like that. It just, for me, it's easier to just put it into a Word doc and make a PDF from there. And now I have, so what I would do is I would just copy that full text though, paste it into a Google Doc. I would tag Chris in it and say, any issues with pricing, anything like that. He would say, Claude did amazing, send it.
So just on formatting here, a lot of times when I export text from either Claude or ChatGPT, I feel like I do spend a lot of time like unformatting it. So because if I have to add a bullet, for example, it adds a bunch of weird space in between bullet lines that it created versus mine. This is completely formatted different. This looks like text right here, but the actual proposal, did you tell it to do that? It just did it.
Yeah, it did this. But you're right. There is like a lot of times some level. I could say though, can you create the proposal as a TXT?
Yeah, that might save time over what I've been doing.
So just so you know, what I just did here is I just click the copy button, something I don't do enough, if I'm being honest. And then I'm just going to go into here. But you're right. I'm going to go in. I'm going to like, there's like these things that it might do to make things kind of weird. I'm going to read through it. Chris, actually, how long many pages is this? It's 12 pages. Chris is going to say this is too long. But what is also nice about creating these in AI is if Chris comes in to this proposal and says, Casey, this is too long, you know what I'm going to do?
Make it shorter, Claude.
Yeah. Or I will literally say, Chris said this.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then in terms of quality, tailoring the Taylor Swift proposal, for the one that you actually did this for, that was a real live, real deal thing, how much time did you spend editing the proposal that Claude generated?
Maybe 15 minutes. There was a piece of the proposal I didn't like.
Mhm.
And this is why I do think you should really read through it. Like, I did this, I've done this a few times recently. Most recently, I was doing this for a client that we set up lead scores for, but are continuing to work with them to optimize their lead scores now. And I don't know, the way Claude phrased it, like we set the lead scores up and now we're just like maintaining them with the client, um, helping them build out more reporting, helping them optimize them as time goes on and as their business changes. But the way Claude originally phrased it, I feel like made it sound like the scores were bad and needed to be changed, but that's not really the case. We're just going to continue to optimize. I don't know. It just felt weird. So I went back and forth with Claude a couple times on that. But I remember one time, I think it was a Hub Heroes episode where someone said the best thing about AI is it types faster than me. And I think that too, like, even if I'm editing a proposal, I'm having Claude edit it because it's gonna type it faster than I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 100%. Any kind of text, it helps immensely. I imagine, would you do this for a project that you'd never done any kind of work for? Would you rely on Claude to create that kind of proposal?
Not in the same way. I just like let it go here.
Mm-hmm.
I think when I've created proposals for like things I don't have documentation for before, I've still used Claude. So I would send it the conversation and I'll ask Claude, like, how do you think I should price this? What do you think the structure should look like? And I start having those conversations first. And then I say, okay, based on what we've like come to, now write a proposal based on that.
Yeah.
But that's also where it comes, like, it is an assistant. It is like a colleague. These are all conversations that as a small business owner, I don't know.
You are a small business owner.
Like, I don't have anyone to like check, like, I don't have somebody in the corner that I can like ask about pricing and stuff like that. Frank behind me is not stressed about what we price a project at. So I think from that perspective, it's helpful to like brainstorm and kind of talk through those pieces. And then it creates a proposal based on that.
It's very cool. Well done, Casey.
I said we could in 30 minutes have a proposal and a documented like CRM record for a follow-up call, but I would say it was 15 minutes.
Yeah. If you're focusing, it would have gone much faster.
It could be 5 really some of the stuff, like, it takes a little while for it to like write the proposal. I will often go make a cup of coffee, change my laundry.
But that's a piece that makes me a little bit crazy, is that I feel like you have to be there as an active babysitter, because if you're not watching what it's doing, often enough it starts doing something you don't want it to do. And if you're not watching, you can't catch it. Mm-hmm. But maybe if it's for something that you're doing kind of over and over again like this, it requires less babysitting.
Yeah, that's fair. The more you do this, the better it will be each time you do it.
Mm-hmm.
the better the outcome will be, because you need to like fine tune it. And like stupid things, like I knew to look out for the date thing because I noticed that the first time. I knew to ask about the email addresses because it got it wrong the first time. I just guessed. I also, the first time I did this, I had it enrich the records with the LinkedIn profiles as well, which is actually because Caleb from Super 8 came on the show and told us that AI is really good at researching LinkedIn profiles. That's one thing he uses it for. And so I then had a call and I was like, let's do that. So all of this to say, I think I'm really happy with it. You can also, add knowledge to it. I asked it to add me as the contact owner, and it kept adding Chris as the contact or the company owner. I think that's because he did the integration. However, another reason is on the back end of HubSpot users are numbers, not names. That is one thing that may get better over time, or you can give HubSpot the knowledge. Like if I just added to the knowledge base in that project, Casey Hawkins equals this HubSpot user, then it would be fine moving forward.
Yeah, I bet it would be.
I also want to add something to the knowledge base that says it is not 2024.
Good luck with that. I hope that works.
Any questions? I think this is a win for AI.
I think it's a total win. Thanks for sharing it. I love it.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day.
Happy Friday.